This video better be worth it. Oh, there's a wind! I've never seen it this bad. Our ride to get us isn't far from here, but it's taking them so long because they probably can't even see to find us. How can it be this bad? I can't.
Hey guys, it's Delilah.
And it's Esther, and today we are going to be telling you the story of how we got stranded in a blizzard.
Oh man, it was a horrible experience, and I had a mental breakdown during this too.
And this happened just a few days ago, and all of this happened because we were trying to film a video. It's all because of our last video.
Oh man, the sandwich.
The sandwich video. If you guys have not seen that, please go watch it. We will have it linked in the description. A lot went into that video. We literally spent like $70 on it, and literally got stranded in a blizzard. Like
yeah,
a full-on
because of
blizzard.
this video, we literally it was the only day that we could film, and we
both were able to film that day.
And we had checked the weather, and it said nothing about a blizzard on both of our weather apps.
Yes.
So our weather apps failed us.
It didn't say anything about snow, anything about wind.
No.
And yeah, so Delilah was coming over to my house to pick me up. And I think it was snowing just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't anything horrible. So I'm like, oh, it's probably just going to snow for like the next half hour or something and then stop. Because, there's nothing about it in the weather, so I didn't really think anything of it. So I went to pick up Esther, and then we went to Walmart to buy snacks and like different ingredients and things that we needed for the sandwich video. It is awful out here.
Man, it's like a blizzard.
It actually is like a blizzard. I'm freezing, and I cannot walk faster than this, or I'm literally gonna slip and fall on my butt. Literally. Oh boy, it started getting bad while we were in Walmart.
As soon as we got out of Walmart, right next to your car, wasn't there like a big drift of snow? We were like, did that come like while we were in Walmart? Because we weren't even in there that long.
Oh man! Oh man! I just going to deep.
Look did all this come while we were in there? This wasn't here before.
No, we weren't. We were only there for a little bit, and then we came out, and there was like this huge drift by my car of snow that I stepped in because I didn't even realize it was there. And it was so windy and terrible. Like, we couldn't even hardly push the cart to my car. It was that bad.
It was horrible.
And we also just spent like $70 on these ingredients. Literally. That's pretty bad.
This video better be worth it.
Oh, there's a wind!
Can't even the car won't even go. I can't even push this. It's so slippy. Oh my goodness, this is
Really
bad.
hard to see again, I bet.
This seems worse than on the way in.
It is.
The drive home was absolutely terrifying. Like, in town, it wasn't that bad. It was still pretty bad, but once we started getting out more into the country, which we don't live, we live outside of town.
Yeah.
Quite a way. So it takes, 15-20 minutes to get to your house. We were going to my house, or we were trying to get to my house, and I live probably about 20-25 minutes out of town.
And that's on a good day, when the weather isn't bad. If the weather's bad, we were going literally at some point we were literally going under 5 miles per hour, probably going 1 mile per hour. It was that bad.
You could not see a foot in front of you, and we were on a really, really busy highway.
And you couldn't see anything in front of you, so that was so scary because there were so many cars coming. We could not see.
This is really scary. Oh crap.
And then we ended up having to go off the highway to go onto the country roads, and then as if it wasn't bad enough before, it was even worse when we got out into the country. When I say you couldn't see a single thing in front of you, I mean we couldn't see anything.
Nothing at all. We will have clips inserted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrifying. It was the worst I have ever seen it. Now, like I said, we were going to my house, but we weren't able to because we had to take a left turn to go to my house, and cars could have potentially been coming at us and we wouldn't have been able to see them.
Yeah,
we could have very easily got hit, so we decided to go to Delilah's house instead.
Yeah, because towards my house, we just had to make a right-hand turn. We only had to make right-hand turns the whole way to my house. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna stop at my house because we're not gonna risk trying to like cross the highway without being able to see. And we could barely even see to turn right to like head towards my house. Like, I'm surprised we even made that turn because we couldn't even like see where the road was. We probably went 15 minutes without even having a single moment where we could see for even a second.
Yes,
like
it was pure whiteout conditions.
Yeah, like I can't even believe that we made it as far as we did. And then finally, when we were about a mile away from my house, that's when it got the worst yet. And we just couldn't see anything at all. And at this point, I was already crying. Like, I called my dad, and I was crying on the phone, and he was like, I don't even remember what he said, just like, you know, take it slow, which I already was. We were going like 1 mile per hour. And then my dad hung up on me, and then shortly after that, I drove straight into the ditch.
Yeah, didn't he literally just say, don't go into the ditch?
Yes, and then we hung up, and I drove straight into the ditch, which, I mean, it's not like we flew into the ditch or anything. There wasn't any damage to my car because we were going literally 1 mile per hour, but I just like drove us straight into the ditch. So, update, we ended up in the ditch.
It is bad.
It's just, I've never seen it this bad. And like, our ride to get us isn't far from here, but it's taking them so long because they probably can't even see to find us. It's like, how can it be this bad? It's like, I can't.
But
I'm
it was
just
still
like,
so scary.
it was. I've never like been in any sort of an accident before, and I've never been in the ditch or had anything like that happen. And then also just not being able to see and being stranded out there, and then also like thinking, what if somebody else hits us? Because there was this point where this semi was coming towards us, and that really freaked me out. Like, what if they hit us? So then I call my mom and dad, and I'm like, we're in the ditch. I was literally crying. I'm like, we went in the ditch.
She was like sobbing.
I was sobbing.
Delilah, you were on the phone literally screaming.
Yeah,
she was screaming. I feel like your mom was like, you're in the ditch. How'd that happen? You're like, I don't know. I'm just in the ditch.
She's like, where are you? And I'm
She's
like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, she's like, you were like screaming, I don't know, and crying.
And then my mom like, why are you crying? Stop crying. Why are you crying? Like, pull yourself together. And then my mom and dad leave to come get me. I'm just like, oh no, I don't even think, I was so scared something was gonna happen to them, or like, I didn't even know if they'd be able to find us.
What if they would have went into the ditch too?
Yeah, and the thing is, they actually ended up, my mom and dad literally did end up in the ditch. Like, the front of their car was in the ditch, but somehow my dad was able, like, the snow must have been hard enough that he was able to like back out of it. That happened just on the way to get us, and we were only like a mile from my house, but it took them like, what's it like over?
Hour,
yeah,
probably
like,
at least.
A very long, yeah, just for them to get to us, because you know they could only go so slow, and then they like kept almost going in the ditch over and over, and then they were at one point in the ditch, and it was just so terrifying. I'm like, are they even gonna be able to find us? And my mom said, so on the phone, she's like, why are you crying? But she said she actually started crying on the way to get me. It was that stressful.
It was so terrifying.
And she was like, what happens if we end up in the ditch too? Like, we're gonna be stranded in the ditch, and there's gonna be nobody to come help any of us, and we're just all gonna be trapped. So that was just absolutely terrifying. Like, it was the worst we'd ever seen the weather, and both my mom and dad have said they've never seen anything like that because it was so windy. Like, I think my mom and dad said it was like 70-mile-per-hour wind, and then there's so much snow that like it was just drifting everywhere to the point you couldn't see a single thing. It was so scary. We were in the ditch, and like there were so many points where I'm like, are we gonna die? Like, are we gonna make it? Like, I was so scared something's gonna happen because like I thought, you know, we could get hit, or maybe like we're gonna just be stranded. It was so scary. But then finally they ended up getting to us, and then just getting out of my car was hard because the wind was so strong, could barely open the door. And then it was scary crossing the road to like get to my parents' vehicle too, because like you couldn't really see if any cars were coming. We're like, are we gonna get hit?
And also, even being out there for the couple seconds we were, it was freezing cold. Like,
Mhm.
we had contemplated maybe like walking back to Delilah's house because we were like, oh, you know, it's not that far, but we would have
been
died.
dead.
We
Yeah,
would
we
have
would've been
froze to
dead.
death. The wind was so strong, snow was blowing everywhere. It was freezing.
Yeah, there's no way we could have survived. We would have ran back to the car so fast, like after a second. But it was just terrible. And then I was like pulling on my parents' vehicle door, like trying to get in. I'd like pull like both my hands and like use my body weight to get it open. And then I like flew in. The wind just pushed me in and I like fell. And oh man. And then the way back to my house was really scary too. Like my mom and dad were both super stressed out. I mean, we were stressed out. I was crying. It was
We
just
ended up having to
horrible.
like turn around.
Yeah, we ended up having to turn around too,
Which
and that
was
was really hard because, you know, you couldn't see anything.
And didn't it? Oh, my dog. You probably hear him howling. But anyways, yeah, didn't it literally take us like probably at least an hour to get back to your house?
I think
too?
so. Like it had to have been close.
Probably like 45 minutes an hour. It was a long time.
It was just horrible. Like I've never seen anything like it, and I hope to never experience anything like that again. Like it was traumatizing. Like if we had any idea that the weather was going to be like that, there's no way we would have left the house. Like we just had no idea. We did all of that for the sandwich video. So
You guys, if you haven't watched it, you better go watch it.
Yeah, you better watch it because we went through a lot. I went through a full-on mental breakdown because of that. And then my poor dad and mom and his friend had to like pull my car out of the ditch too at like 1 or 2 in the morning. It was bad for everybody. And we also spent $70 on that video. So if you haven't watched it, you better watch it because we put in a lot. There was a lot that went into that video.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I can't.